Brace yourselves for the magical and musical event of the year, Doctor Who: A Celebration. Join 2,000 people to witness the invasion of Daleks, Cybermen, an orchestra and choir as they conjure up a heart-stopping and toe-tapping night to remember. Hosted by the Doctor himself, David Tennant, Doctor Who Confidential goes behind the scenes to catch up with some familiar faces and give you the best seat in the house to this extraordinary event.
It was a bit like being a pop star, that first moment. I felt like Robbie Williams or something.
When the curtain came up, I cried. There was David, and the orchestra was just, it was breathtaking.
There's the sequence of The Runaway Bride with the orchestra playing what will be the Music You live.
You are kidding me.
Tonight, there will be lots of music from the last two series, and even an extra bit that has never been heard before from this year's brand new Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. Oh yes, Well May You Woo.
I can't wait. It's going to be thrilling.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and there's a long day ahead for the Doctor Who team. In just over 16 hours' time, the Wales Millennium Centre will be transformed from an empty shell to a packed house, with thousands due to descend on Cardiff from all over the country. With sets to be built, monsters to be dressed, and musicians to be rehearsed, all before tonight's curtain call, the pressure is on to be ready in time. To pull this off will be a feat of planning and endurance from the whole production, but one which will surely become the biggest live event in Doctor Who's history. So where did the journey begin?
It must have been about 6 months ago that Julie Gardner, our executive producer, rang me up and said she was planning to organise a concert for children in need. Of Murray Gold's music from Doctor Who. Like she doesn't have enough to do with her days.
I think Murray had said to me the word concert about a year ago. Just having heard the orchestra and thinking they were wonderful and just loving working with them. And I tragically remembered that word, and the whole thing started from there.
Yeah, you might very playfully say, what about a concert for children in need? And then you find yourself here, so be warned. Be careful what you wish for.
I merely agreed. I said, yeah, of course I'll be involved. I'll do whatever you... Yeah, whatever. Because it was a long time away then. Now, of course, it's rolled round. And I'm getting a little bit nervous, frankly.
You try organising and getting 20 people to your house next weekend. That's hard enough. Imagine getting an orchestra and a choir and the copyright and editing those clips and getting the stars there when they are filming on the busiest schedule in the world and getting the Wales Millennium Centre. That's booked up way in advance. It's a massive, massive enterprise.
For the next 6 hours, well, the next 8 hours, I suppose everything's got to go to plan. It's got to go on schedule. There's so little room for manoeuvre that the planning has to really work now. 2 o'clock, lights came in, set came in. Around about 8 o'clock, we had the cameras arrive, and we've got gradually all of the monsters coming in. Screens up, stage is in, orchestra set. So far, so good, but, you know, we've still got a long way to go before this auditorium is full of people waiting to see this concert. And that's going to be tight.
All right, here we go, folks. Standing by, ready when you are. No, we're not.
There's no time to waste, as now the rehearsals are underway. This is the one and only chance to run through the whole performance. With the curtain call only moments away, The cameras are given their final instructions, the monsters their final positions, and David Tennant his final script. There is no turning back the clock for the Time Lord this time.
I just wish I had a ticket for this evening because I want to sit out here and watch this thing now. It looks like it should be really, really spectacular. Fingers crossed.
Okay, BT's ready.
Stand by. Okay, we can run it. Good evening! Good evening! Yes! We can do audience participation. It's nearly panto time. Where's the orchestra? Very good. My name's David. I play the Doctor. Thank you very much. Doctor Who burst back onto our screens in March 2005 when a whole new audience sat down on a Saturday night to travel through time and space. As well as introducing us to a brand new Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, we met Billie Piper as Rose Tyler, her mum Jackie, her sometimes loving boyfriend Mickey, and her sometimes dead dad Pete. All of a sudden, the last of the Time Lord had pals. So please welcome the fantastic BBC National Orchestra of Wales, their leader Leslie Hatfield, and tonight's conductor, Mr. Ben Foster.
You're a genius!
Give me some Spock. For once, would it kill you?
Hello. You want moves, Rose? I'll give you moves. Excuse me, do you mind not farting while I'm saving the wood?
You're alive.
Well, give me some credit, I can see it coming.
I am a doctor.
Prove it. Stitch this, mate.
900 years of time and space, and I've never been slapped by someone's mother.
Everyone out! Get out! Get out!
Before I go, I just want to tell you were fantastic. And you know what? So was I.
The man behind the music is Murray Gold, who's written the entire soundtrack to Doctor Who since the series returned to our screens.
Every week, Murray Gold has to set up a new world, a new tone, a new feel, a new monster. So it's a huge amount of music that he needs to write. It's a huge, huge job. It's like writing a film every week.
Going down!
Sometimes he'll be doing good old Hammer horror. And then in the same block, he's suddenly turning around and doing The Girl in the Fireplace. I mean, so Murray has to do that. He has to turn his talents to any genre, any style.
You're on my way, doll.
Is there any other way to go, Daddy-O?
We could have had one man and a synthesizer, but we haven't. We've got Murray with all his musicians, and now we've made that bigger by giving him an orchestra. I just love the fact that the show is so big, as it deserves to be.
This show is, in a very un-English way, is incredibly passionate. It kind of came back to the screens, and it had this very emotional voice.
I could save the world but lose you.
Slowly, the music became its companion in that sort of emotiveness, and that's the style that we've stuck with.
Oh, I love this. Can I just say, travelling with you, I love it.
Me too. Come on!
He's just unafraid to go for the big stuff, to go to the heart of it, to go for the accuracy, to go for full-blooded emotion. There's no fear in the music at all, and I think that's what makes it huge and epic and really, really special.
I challenge you. Oh, that struck a chord.
The sword fight with the Sycorax leader last Christmas, I think that's the very first time we used a full orchestra.
You accept my challenge? Or are you just a crack salva?
When you have 90 people playing their hearts out, playing music that they love, that they care about, for a show that they care about, it adds 90 more times heart and emotion to the music.
And to help recreate the size of last year's Christmas invasion, tonight's choir are finding out just what it takes to fall under the spell of the Sycorax, under the guidance of stage director Denny Sayers.
The dress circle, which is the first tier up, if you could make that your eye line, why don't you use in here where the screen goes from white to black? Use that line. You don't swing your arms as you're walking, please. You're going to bring yourselves straight forward. So the more you can keep a steady focus and walk at about this pace, the more I'll get the feeling that you've been completely tranced by something. If you have to turn a corner, try and make it just slightly robotic. Get the idea?
Last Christmas, a new doctor took charge of the TARDIS. A dashing, striking, virile, charming, popular, surprisingly handsome chap. With a fine line in stripy pyjamas. With a cup of tea and a well-placed satsuma, he saved the world from seemingly certain doom. This section of music all comes from that episode.
As they go out onto the wing in that fight, it's just huge.
For the planet. For the planet.
And that's what the Doctor's doing. He's saving the world in a sword fight above London on Christmas Day. And the epic size of it is the music.
Fresh air.
The music is reaching that and taking the pictures bigger and making the whole emotion of it bigger. It's just a genius.
When he has that fight, it was a brilliant, really clever way of defining what this doctor would be. It's the fighting doctor. So I wrote this piece of music for it, which was just sort of a bit swashbuckling, basically, and sort of, you know, hit the cuts and hit the hand and...
You want to know the best bit? This new hand. It's a fighting hand.
And that music was his big fighting adventure theme.
there are themes that have run throughout the whole 2 years. And I think concerts like this sort of show, actually, look, you've been following one story over 27 episodes. Rose has had a theme and a history and now a payoff that you followed. So it's nice. It just makes the whole thing richer.
The Roses theme, which is used throughout the first and second series, it's a mini Rose symphony. It's her music, it's her world.
I'm so glad I met you.
Me too.
Come with me.
The first time that Rose looks at Christopher Eccleston at the end of episode 2, her head is so confused by everything. She just throws it all away and says, I can't deal with this, I want chips, that'll make it all better. It was so real, and that's when it first played, and that piece of music, for the rest of the series, I identify with Rose.
Don't go, sweetheart. Please don't go.
Plays through the series mostly when Rose is either nostalgic for home or in sort of some kind of departure crisis. It really was always about Rose, that music. Even when Rose is saying goodbye to Mickey at the end of Age of Steel, it's Rose's theme. It's for Rose. It's about that little girl who was just transported away by this mysterious stranger who she fell in love with.
But of course, the most well-known music of all is the Doctor Who theme itself.
It's always one of the things that people remember about the show from their childhood, or it's sort of the TARDIS, the Daleks, the theme tune. They're the kind of three icons of the show in a way.
It's a brilliant piece of music, brilliant composition in the first place, then brilliantly realised, and Ron Grainer wrote it, but then Delia Derbyshire made it, and literally made it out of notes, out of discrete notes.
The really catchy thing about it is the bass line, is the and it's like any good song, it's got a really good hook, and that's the hook. but also it's got a brilliant theme, a really kind of almost romantic, soaring theme.
There's just something about it. It just captures the flavour of what the show's about. And it's a thumping good tune, I suppose, as well.
I think initially the Delia Derbyshire arrangement was really raw and really almost electrical, you know. It was electronic, it wasn't even electronic, it was electrical waveform sound. Really brutal and brilliant, and then it became slightly more refined through the 70s. There started to be more almost domestic keyboards, things that you would hear in pop music at the same time. The version from the 80s, the Peter Howell version, was really a dazzling piece of work and pure and energetic and some amazing sound effects. The bit at the end, the sonic boom at the end, I mean, that still lives on. I mean, you remember, you didn't leave the TV. You sat there till the end for the boom.
I don't think we ever had a conversation about changing the music, ever. It was never going to be a different song or a different theme. It had to be that one.
I didn't really want to touch the theme. I didn't, you know, Delia Derbyshire is an artist. What I've done to it is made it gallop along some more, and the Delia Derbyshire just didn't have enough clatter to it. You know, it didn't have enough bash, boom, wallop. The show's got a lot of bash, boom, wallop.
Murray's version has its own identity, it has a blend of the Delia Derbyshire sound, the Murray Gold sound, and of course the National Orchestra of Wales. So it continues the genesis of those themes.
The Doctor Who theme may be well loved, but so are the Daleks, and no concert would be complete without them. From raising smiles in the foyer to raising thousands for charity, the Doctor's great enemy is out in force.
I'm ready for my close-up now.
But before this bronze beast can take the stage by storm, the man inside the Dalek, Barnaby Edwards, is walked through his plan for world domination.
We go from a shot of you up on there to big bright light back here, and then you bring yourself on and you just take yourself straight forward to belabour the audience. And there's no music over this. This is full voice, lights blaring, antennae wiggling, everything a Dalek can do.
The floor's very smooth for a change.
Oh, the floor is
fantastic.
fantastic.
You can really whiz along.
Not concrete, yeah.
And the other thing is there's no script. And I can't believe that they've just left it up to me to say stuff.
Who is this one who stands in front of you? He does not appear to be able to play anything.
On the rehearsal, I just said improvise, improvise. This is me improvising. Oh, I was rude to the orchestra, wasn't I? Which I won't do on performance.
No,
you know.
no.
That was just for laughs.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to say. I actually, at this moment, don't know.
Attention! This building is now under Dalek control. You are all servants of the Daleks. You will obey. Let me hear you say exterminate. I cannot hear you. Exterminate. Will you obey the Daleks forever? In that case, I will have my slave orchestra playing special Dalek music. It will convert you to the Dalek cause. Then you will obey. Conductor, begin.
choir go behind. Dalek, head to the choir.
One of my strongest themes is his Dalek music, which I love, which is a choir being all sinister and omen-like. It's like a horror film. Gives the Daleks, those old metal monster foes of Doctor Who, it suddenly gives them so much size and makes them satanic and makes them movie, feature, film villains as they deserve to be. That's what Daleks should be. And it's just glorious. The whole thing just sings.
Daleks' defining sound has become that choir. And I gave them some kind of quasi-Aramaic type lyrics to sing. And they do have this kind of mystical vibe. Not sure why that is. I think it's just because they are the archetypal villain and they are the Doctor's great nemesis. It just kind of works. I mean, it's also the way it's shot. You know, every time the Daleks have come into it, they're revealed slowly and bit by bit in light. A little bit of the Dalek is shown in darkness.
Doctor! Exterminate! Exterminate! Let me out! Exterminate!
It might not have worked as a theme because it's a slow unravelling theme. But that's how every time the Daleks have come into it, they've done a slow reveal in that way. And it's really suited the moment, that operatic theme.
Rose knife! Exterminate! Exterminate!
The Doctor's had a tough time fighting the Daleks in the past. And he didn't have much fun in 18th century France either. Not only did he have to deal with the clockwork droids, he had to cope with a broken heart too.
The girl in the fireplace it's one of those pieces of magic. It was everything that Doctor Who should be, I suppose.
Oh, hello. Goodness, how you've grown.
It's just rich and imaginative and moving and, you know, so sad.
Only 43 when she died.
Too young. Too young.
I've done an arrangement of a suite which includes the really good attack from the Clockwork Droids at the fireplace.
You monsters come under the bed at nightmares, don't you, monster?
Really playful, really good, but sinister stuff. And then the beautiful theme for Ronette, and which develops as she's older throughout the episode.
The episode starts off with this piece of music that takes you into France. You have a sort of poignancy. You have a very simple kind of childlike melody that may or may not have been played once by Madame de Pompadour. And then pretty soon afterwards, you see this little girl through a fireplace, and that's her theme. We did a bit of the Clockwork Droids and their defeat. But I don't think the heart of that episode, musically, was in the action music. It was definitely in the melody and the tune, in the romantic theme. It was a very romantic episode.
Such a lonely little boy. Lonely then and lonelier now. You and I both know, don't we, Rose? The Doctor is worth the monsters.
Not only do the musicians have to get it all right on the night, the monsters do too. It's been a big day for Paul Casey, who's just come off stage as a Clockwork Droid. But after a quick change, he's now all set to make his onstage debut as a Cyberman.
They come in and out. Once they start to scan the audience, we start to scan the audience as well. Then we wait for Rory, he does a signal, we then follow. Then we wait for him and he goes arms down, 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 and then we wait for the screen. It's really exciting, you know, knowing that it's a live audience and you have one go. The Cybermen are scary anyway, and there is a couple of Cybermen that are going into the audience, so it's going to be good fun, I think, going out and just seeing what the reaction is going to be from everyone, because obviously people see them on the screen, but they don't get to see them live, and, you know, I know people are pretty petrified from them, you know, by them, so, yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait to get out there.
The Daleks first appeared in Doctor Who in 1963, but they aren't the only creatures from the Doctor's past to reappear in the new series. Earlier this year, 40 years after they first tried to invade the Earth, the Cybermen were back. Oh. Redesigned for a new millennium, they stomped out of the fog and into your nightmares. Prepare to be deleted.
The musical theme needed to be simple because it was always going to fit under footsteps. Approaching footsteps are a kind of traditional device of suspense thriller. I guess you could imagine lying in bed and hearing footsteps approaching the door, and then you'd hear the door creak open. I think with the Cybermen you just hear approaching footsteps and then all the windows get shattered.
There's a bit where the orchestra drops down and we hear this repetitive rhythm of stomps, and I've actually put stomps in the choir part. That sound of the Cybermen approaching through the, from the distance. So it's that sound of the clunking of their movement. And then they break through and the choir let loose with this kind of guttural rah.
It's a really good device, it's a really good theme. It's the sound of organised automatons, completely merciless and unsparing, just coming to take you away.
The stage is great, and then to have that orchestra behind us as well, I mean, such a buzz. It was just amazing. Something I'll remember for a very, very long time.
The Cybermen live on to fight another day. But for the Doctor and Rose, The finale of Series 2 marked the end of their time travels together, having become trapped in different worlds forever.
If you're listing favourites, I think everyone's probably going to say the Doomsday music. And I remember how eloquent Murray was in that, because I was a bit surprised by that, actually, when I first heard it. As it started, I went, oh, what's he doing? And because I think we'd all expected swelling violins and sadness. He said it's teenagers, that Rose is a teenage girl, that energy and that beating heart and that determination to reach the Doctor, to find the Doctor, to never give up. That is what he put into the music instead of your adult violins. It's a heart beating there, and there's a voice crying out. It's brilliant.
Billie Piper, she was brilliant. I mean, you just wanted to write music for her character. She got taken into so many people's hearts. You have quite an emotional commitment to characters. As a musician, you write their things and you try and express their heart a little bit. David and Billy on either side of the white wall, separated by this infinite amount of space, but so close. So I thought, here's a chance to do something different. Took the music from when Rose first walked into the TARDIS in episode 1, which was just the moment she first walked into the Doctor's home, and I sort of reset it. I just took Melanie Pappenheimer's voice, and I just knew I wanted to get that kind of throbbing, sort of hurt sound of quite emotional rock, because I thought that's what Rose would do if she was hurting and ran up to her bedroom and locked herself in her room and just had a good old cry, really. That was the feeling that I went into, and I just sort of did it, and it seems to have quite a lot of emotional power, which is good.
Said I was gonna die in battle.
Then it lied. A storm's approaching.
I made my choice a long time ago, and I'm never gonna leave you.
Talk to Rose. Just tell her. Oh, she knows.
You know what? They keep on trying to split us up, but they never ever will.
Never say never ever. Rose Tyler.
We had to face the problem of ending Series 2 on, like, the saddest scenes in the world of upset and heartbreak. And it is my job to make sure people don't go, oh, well, that's finished then, and switch off.
What? What?
So I love the fact that just he hasn't even got the luxury of relaxing, going, oh, I'm sad now, because his life just is never like that.
Who are you?
But suddenly there's a bride right on his doorstep, literally inside his doorstep.
Where am I?
What?
And on top of that, there's an even greater mystery of how she got there.
What the hell is this place?
What?
It's just setting up a premise saying, look, Doctor Who doesn't end. Lovely, lovely Rose Tyler might have left. Lovely Billy might have left. But this is about the Doctor, and his life continues and will always continue, and it moves on. And here's another adventure starting seconds after the disaster of Doomsday.
Filming for the Christmas special began high on a London rooftop last July, with a brand new series set to follow next year.
First day on Series 3, first day back. We've had about 3 months off.
Hello again.
In some ways, it's weird. It's like it was just yesterday. It's like, you know, slipping into a comfortable pair of slippers again.
And action!
Cut. Good cut.
Good.
This time last year, I was the new boy, obviously, and now I'm the senior, I suppose. And there's all sorts of other new people joining us.
And the newest of all is Catherine Tate, who plays the Doctor's Christmas companion, Donna.
We should add a time machine. Then we could go back and get it right.
It's so exciting. You know what I mean? It is so exciting. The things I really like are doing just the tiny little bits where David and I are a bit sparky with each other.
It's weird. I mean, you're not special, you're not powerful, you're not connected, you're not clever, you're not important.
This friend of yours, just before she left, did she punch you in the face? Stop bleeping me!
The sort of little banterish bits, that's quite funny.
God, you're skinny. This won't fit a rat.
It's such a laugh and a pleasure after Rose to write someone who doesn't want to be on board the TARDIS, who thinks it's a nightmare, and who thinks the Doctor's an idiot and a kidnapper and a fool.
It's come on then, robot Santas. What are they for?
Oh, your basic robo-scavenger. The Father Christmas stuff is just a disguise.
She isn't a traditional companion in the sense that she's not sort of baying at his feet.
I met them last Christmas.
Why? What happened then?
She's sort of a bit ditzy and a bit gobby and a bit feisty.
Great big spaceship, hovering over London. Didn't notice?
Teeny bit thick.
I had a bit of a hangover.
Catherine's doing fantastically. She spends the whole episode in a wedding dress, so I think she was quite grateful earlier today that it was a bit cool and a bit colder, but I think she's going to come out and boil now because she's under layers and layers and layers. But we're having a good time. They look brilliant together on screen, and I'm really happy.
And it's just a completely different feel. It's a completely different TARDIS. It's a completely different adventure. And yeah, it's good old Doctor Who. It's still exactly the same show.
Now the time has come to really see the Doctor and Donna in action.
That was lovely. Well done. Very good.
Okay, standing by for David.
Here is something that no one has seen or heard before. Oh, yes. Contain yourselves. This sequence has only just been finished, literally. And everyone on the production team is hearing and seeing it complete for the first time tonight, along with you. From this year's Doctor Who Christmas special, here's an exclusive sneak preview of The Runaway Bride.
Trust me.
I think that's how Doctor Who should be shown, with 2,000 people sitting in an auditorium. Because there's a bit in that clip we played where the TARDIS appears coming to the rescue, and he got a round of applause. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, who does that in my head? That's always what it sounds like, but 2,000 people are clapping. And finally we got it.
To see children, to see what it meant to them, was incredibly powerful and moving.
I sat next to my cousins, Max and Louis, and they're only little. And they just completely loved it.
It would be a completely different show if it wasn't for Murray's music.
Yeah.
And everybody's efforts have been extraordinary, haven't they? I mean, look at the show. It's gobsmackingly beautiful.
So as the orchestra played their final encore, just what lies in store for the next series of Doctor Who?
After this Christmas special, we're all still busy here slaving away on the third series of Doctor Who, which will be coming soon, which is, you sort of think, where can we go next? And then you realise the brilliant thing about this show is you can go anywhere.
I love making this show, and I love the scripts. They keep coming and keep being bigger and better than ever, really. So it's never difficult to get up for work on this job. Each day is more bananas than the day before, and I like that.